Hi there. Welcome to Comp1390. My name is Cam Quinn. I may or may not be your instructor for this course, but I did develop the course, so I just wanted to have a quick 15-minute video to kind of introduce you to the course, cover off some key points, and get you started. So, basically, the course is primarily Microsoft Office, exclusively Microsoft Office. So there's going to be 2 weeks of PowerPoint, 3 weeks of Microsoft Word, 4 weeks of Excel, 1 week on Outlook, 1 week on Access, and then there will be 1 week when we go through Human Capital Management, which is the human resources component of an ERP, in which we will go through PeopleSoft's version of HR, and you will then do an assignment on talent management, which is part of that as well. So basically, structure of the course, depending on when the break is, the course is structured slightly differently. So as an example, for January 2019, when the break is a week earlier, we're going to jump straight into PowerPoint. If the break is a week later, then we would do Outlook in the first week and go on. So you'll have to check the Getting Started post in Financial Online to determine exactly what the course is structured for your term. So on that topic, it's highly recommended that you review Financial Online on a regular basis. So the first thing you should be doing in this course after going through this video is to go into the Getting Started post in Financial Online in content and read through all of that and the links that are included there. So in there you will see information about how your course is evaluated, about possible academic offenses, about the structure and timing of the courses and so on. There's introductions to your instructor and that sort of thing in there as well, information on the textbook and so on. So to get a good grounding on the course, you should read through the Getting Started post in Financial Online. So as to structure, as I say, there's 1 week on Outlook, and 1 week on Human Capital Management. So those are kind of and 1 week on Access. So those are kind of the outtakes. So Outlook, we're just going to cover what is included in Outlook. We'll talk about email, of course, calendar, people, how you keep track of your contacts and what have you. Conditional formatting, anyway, that sort of thing. Access is just basically to give you an understanding of databases, terminology. We're not going to teach you Access in one day, but you'll get a feel for how it works, and you'll actually create a very small Access database. And Human Capital Management, as I said, that's covers the HR components of an ERP, as well as talent management. And there is a in-class assignment for our face-to-face students and a personal assignment for our online students to cover off on talent management. And again, we'll talk about that in more detail. So the way the course is evaluated, there are, I believe, 11 quizzes in the course. Quizzes are done in Financial Online, so each week, except the week on Human Capital Management, there is a quiz in Financial Online. It covers terminology, concepts, and what have you. Those quizzes, there are 11, but we dropped 2. They're worth 15% of your total mark. So having dropped 2, then each quiz is worth roughly 1.7 marks. Then there are 9 graders. We'll talk about those in a minute. So there are graders anytime you're working on PowerPoint, Word, or Excel. The graders themselves, there are 9. We drop 1. So each grader is worth 3.75%. You have the Human Capital Management project, which is worth 5%, and there are 2 tests. The first test is in week 6, I think, 6 or 7, depending on the schedule. That is going to cover just Microsoft Word and is worth 25 marks. And then there is a test in week 14, so there's nothing in exam week. And the test in week 14 covers just Excel, and that's worth 25%. So that's the sum total of your marks. My IT Lab is a required resource, so when you decide if you're going to buy the textbook or not, you do need to buy My IT Lab. So My IT Lab can be purchased at the bookstore for $98. That includes a free, or not a free, but it includes the e-text for the course. So you can have access to the textbook on your phone, on a tablet, or on your computer through a website. You can also buy that directly from Pearson, which is the publisher, but that's $99 US, so you would be better off to buy it at the bookstore for $98 Canadian. If you want a physical textbook, you can buy the textbook at the bookstore for $117. That includes the book as well as the My IT Lab license. But regardless, you must have My IT Lab. Whenever you start working on PowerPoint, that's when you're going to need My IT Lab. So as an example, in winter, January 2019, you need it in the first week. Now, you can, if you don't have the cash or you're not quite ready, you're not settled in and what have you, you can still use a temporary access to My IT Lab. You can get that for free for the first 2 weeks. After which time, sometime in that 2-week period, you have to buy My IT Lab and convert your temporary license to an active one. If you don't activate it within that 2 weeks, it doesn't disappear, but I won't be able to see it for your marks. You won't be able to use it for your grader assignments. As soon as you do buy the license, then everything will open up, and I'll be able to look at all your marks, past marks and future marks and so on as you go. So you do need to buy My IT Lab. If you buy it with the textbook, of course, you have a book. Your tests are open book, so there's a benefit there. But you have an e-textbook if you just buy the license, and you can use that during your test as well. So it's your choice as to which way you want to go, whether you want a physical book or an e-book. So the way the course is structured, if you're a face-to-face student, you have 2 hours in the lab. The first hour we're going to spend on instruction. So covering off the concepts that we're covering off that week. I'm going to focus just on the Microsoft Office weeks at this point in time. So let's just use PowerPoint as an example. So you would have 1 week of or 1 hour of PowerPoint instruction, in which case what you will do is come into the lab, sit down at a computer. You will download a start file from Fanch Online. Then as a class, we'll work through a number of different skills in the first hour. In the second hour, you'll use My IT Lab to download a start file. You will have a list of instructions, which you'll also get from My IT Lab. You'll complete those instructions against the file. In other words, you'll complete a PowerPoint presentation. When you are done, you will submit that back to My IT Lab, at which point it will be marked. And you will get your mark back immediately. You can then take a look at where you made your mistakes. You have the opportunity to fix those mistakes and resubmit it for a second time. So whichever is your higher of the 2 marks is the mark you're going to get for that particular grader. Also during that hour in the classroom, I would be able to sit down and help people one-on-one with issues that they might have for that period. As a face-to-face student, you would also have 1 hour virtual. So that's your hour that you should be putting aside to complete the grader if you haven't got it done already, to work on the quiz, to prepare for the next week's lessons, and so on. So you should have budgeting for 3 hours. If you're an online student, of course, you're going to be doing all this yourself, but you're going to be using Fanch Online in the textbook to do the instructional component. There are detailed notes in Fanch Online that take you through all of the components of that particular week. Then there are also detailed notes in Fanch Online on the grader. There's even a picture of the completed grader assignment so you can see what it looks like before you submit it. So if you're, again, even as an online student, you should be budgeting that 3 hours a week to complete the course. You should do the graders each and every week. One of the things I'll tell you right up front is don't come to me or your instructor 2/3 of the way through the course and say, you know, I wasn't able to get week 3 done. Can I reopen it because I'm going to fail otherwise? And the answer is no. You have to budget your time. You have a full week to complete these assignments. All your assignments are due Friday at midnight. Whether you're face-to-face or online, it's both the same. So your assignments are always due Friday at midnight. You've got that whole week to get things done. Don't leave it till 11:45 on a Friday night, and then all of a sudden your computer goes down, your internet's down, whatever. It's too late. You have to have budgeted your time. You should be doing these assignments earlier in the week so that if you do have issues, you can contact me either through a discussion post or through an email to get answers as to what you need to do to complete that assignment effectively. If you work through your assignments each and every week, you will be successful in this course. So that's the key component for the whole course, is to get that done. Now, also in my IT lab, there are significant, so as I said, there's lots of help in Fanch Online, very detailed. Please read through that every week. There are also, in my IT lab, there are PowerPoint slides of the content for that particular week. There are skill-based training, which are computer simulations that cover each of the skills for that particular week. There are videos of each of the skills in that particular week. So lots of opportunity in my IT lab as well as Fanch Online to be successful in the course. Getting set up for my IT lab, there is a folder in content called Using My IT Lab. It will give you the section code that you need to join to become a part of this, how to get yourself set up, how to submit a grader, how to do the grader assignments and check your marks, and how to use computer simulations and so on. All of those videos are there in Fanch Online. One of the things you have to be aware of here is that when you are completing an assignment, so you're going to be working offline, you're going to be working in Excel, Word, or PowerPoint, completing these graders before you submit them back up. You'll have a tendency, somebody may ask you, can you just send me your file because I don't understand something and I want to figure it out. Please do not do that. Do not give your file to anybody else. When you download your file from my IT lab, it marks it as yours. If you give that file to somebody else and they accidentally or on purpose submit your file to my IT lab to be marked, then we'll know. Now, you won't. If you submit the mark, you're going to get the same mark, whatever mark they had, but behind the scenes, the instructor is going to know that the file that was submitted by Bob was created by Sue, at which point both you and Sue are going to get an academic offense. You're going to get 0 on the assignment, and you're going to get an integrity violation or an academic offense at Fanch. So it's just not worth it. By all means, help your friends out. That's what you both learn if you're helping somebody work through an assignment, but do your own work. If you have a technical issue that says you couldn't download the file, then you need to talk to your instructor, who will give you a file to get you started so that you don't have that problem. Now, finally, if you are a face-to-face student, you've got access to the lab computers here, which have Office on them, but you can still work from home as well, because again, everything's due Friday at midnight. You should take advantage. Fanch has a policy, or has an arrangement with Microsoft to give you a free version of Microsoft Office called Office 365. That's the subscription version of Office that it updates and you pay a monthly fee for it. But as a student of Fanch, you get that for free, as long as you're a student. So you should do that. Whether you're a face-to-face student or an online students for sure, you can use Office 2013, Office 2016, or Office 2019 to complete the course, but I don't know why you wouldn't take advantage of the free version of Office 365 anyway. And there's also Office 365 for a Mac if you're running with a Mac. Just a quick point, if you're running a Mac from home, everything will work in a Mac that's working for a PC. There are sometimes differences, but those will be well documented in Fanch Online as well as in the grader assignment as you work through it. Finally, you do need to make sure your computer is set up to English United States, not English Canada. It doesn't cause a huge amount of problems, but there are a couple of times when it can be an issue. The instructions are all in Fanch Online in Getting Started to tell you how to make sure that your computer is set up. The primary reason is because on English Canada everything is marked in centimeters, but English United States is in inches, and the course is created and based on a US set. Anyway, that's pretty much it. So welcome to the course. Again, if you have any issues or concerns, please email me, post a comment in the discussion board. Be happy to help and make sure that you are successful in the course. Thanks a lot. Have a good term.